Well, according to the National Bureau of Statistics, the value of total exports in Q1 2021 decreased by 8.99% against the level recorded in the fourth quarter of 2020. The value of agricultural exports increased by over 100% in Q1 compared to Q4 of 2020. The value of raw materials goods exported in Q1 2021 was 9% lower than the value in the fourth quarter of 2020. The value of solid minerals exports increased by over 100%. Now, against this backdrop and with the issue of diversifying the economy, we are going to have that discussion now with Dr. Segun Musa. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us this morning,
Dr.
Segun.
Great to have you.
Yeah, so higher level of imports over exports resulted in trade deficit. Nigeria has a trade deficit of over almost 2 billion naira now. Should we be worried? The figures show we have some increases and some decreases. Should we be worried? Are we on the right track?
Yes, thank you very much. I think we need to look at the statistics very well. You look at the deficits. How significant is the deficit we're talking about? And we also need to look at what are the expectations. There's no way we can actually acknowledge that we are achieving progress if we have a deficit that has encouraged import over exports. We're actually looking at if over 2/3 of your economy is sitting on imports, then we should be worried. Because the essence of having a viable economy is the balance of trade. Without the balance of trade, we can't talk about balance of payment. And if there's no balance of payment, our currency will be worthless. So we should be worried. We should be worried.
But how much of this can we attribute to the taste of Nigerians?
When you're talking about taste of Nigeria, you're actually looking at Nigerians do not have a particular taste. They go for price of commodity. They go for standard. For instance, if you are talking about, let us encourage Nigeria rice. And after eating Nigeria rice, you end up in the hospital for appendix treatment. If we are unable to meet up with price, standard, quality, assured, definitely Nigeria will go for something better. We have taste, but definitely we are also looking at so many other factors beyond taste. Today, we have China wire cable, but we still go for Nigeria as our first choice. That is to show that it's not as if they are not willing to patronize, but they are looking for price and standard quality assured.
But thank God you mentioned China, because when China started out, I remember here in Nigeria, if you want to refer something as being of low quality, you say it's China-made. Yeah. But now China has gotten to a level where even they are one of the world giants economically, and because, they locked up, and even though they were producing things of low quality, they were patronizing themselves and they were learning from their mistakes, and now they are one of the giants economically. So, why can't we do that? We have the potentials.
I think the starting point of China, if you study the history of China very well, they decided to embark on quality assured production. That was their starting point. They were actually producing quality for local consumption. But for export consumption, like you mentioned that me and you will import from China, is low quality. So if you like, you can't patronize that of quality standard, and you can. But most Nigeria traders prefer patronizing and purchasing that of quality because lower quality because of price. But that does not mean China did not start with quality. They have quality standard for local consumption. As well, we have some, it depends on countries. There are some countries that they have a standard that you don't go below. So when you are purchasing from China, you request for that standard. But if you are the kind of country like ours in Nigeria here, you can decide to go for low quality. That does not mean China did not start with quality. They started with quality, but they have two markets, quality and low quality.
Our brothers in Aba, for instance, would you say they are producing for Nigerian quality, or they are not giving attention to quality? Because you see some products from there and you mistake it that it's imported anyway.
Yes, when you're talking about our local markets, they're actually producing for Nigerian market consumption based on our standard. Until and otherwise, the federal government decides to raise the bar that this is the minimum quality standard required for our local consumption. As we speak now, we don't have local standard. That's why when you look at cement produced in Nigeria and the one imported, the one in Nigeria is of low quality than what is obtainable in other parts of the world. So this is our own standard as defined by our government.
I think SON is not doing enough. Is that what you're implying?
I think SON is only interested in revenue. Yeah, with fairness to them, they're only interested. Because if SON is interested in quality assured out of local manufactured goods, by now, we should be talking about most of our local products that are of quality standard that can meet other similar products in other parts of the world. But as we speak now, most, like the manufacturing companies we have in Nigeria, look at the product they are producing. Coca-Cola, I'm sorry, I don't want to mention him. We have so many products that do not meet others. Each time you travel, you meet all these products in other parts of the world, and you taste, you feel, you use, there's a difference, but they're the same name. So the standard organization is only interested in revenue. They are more of revenue collection than product regulation. So this is the standard that the standard organization is contented with.
So is it safe to say that what is sent here is of lower standard? Because as you mentioned now, when you taste maybe a biscuit brand from UK and you taste the same thing here, there's a big difference. So is it that they're sending...
Or is it for our health? Because that was a debate some time ago, that sometimes the sugar content is lower because of the health of Nigerians.
No, you see, when you talk about quality, you are looking at the ingredients that are actually integrated into that production. If it will be cheaper for me to bring a product that will be of high sugar level, and it will be cheaper, than to bring something of low sugar level and it will be higher, I'd rather go for that because the government does not even know the difference. When you have a standard organization that cannot distinguish between ingredients of products, and everything can just come in. So it is a standard that we are being positioned that we are consuming until the federal government realizes the need for us to upgrade our level and meet that international standard. So the standard of ABA is Nigerian standard until and otherwise the federal government, through the SON and other relevant regulatory agency, decide to say, look, let us upgrade our standard to meet this level.
All right. Let's look at the borders now. You're an advocate for, open borders, but don't you think that, defeats the purpose of, reducing our imports at this point?
No. When you're talking about open border, you're talking about competition. You're talking of avoiding a situation where a particular product or a particular business owner monopolizes the markets. Borders are not meant for only import. It's for both import and export. So it depends. It is a responsibility of government to now regulate how to develop our local content, our production level, to meet that of our export level, import level. Because, like I said earlier on, if you don't have policy in place to drive your local production, you'll be a consumable country, and you continue consuming anything. So if we have a system in place that encourages local production, of course, we begin to develop the standard of exports. But as we speak now, we import virtually everything. We are import dependent. So until we are able to identify what is our national interest, and I think that should be the basic and the primary focus of government. That's why most of the government has failed over time, because we do not have what we call national interest.
Well, we do have a lot of interventions from the government, going to the area of agriculture. I mean, there's been a lot of attention given to agriculture. There's been funds, given to manufacturers also. So don't you think these show this is the interest of the government, or are you saying they are not enough?
I don't think that would be true, 100% right or 50% right, because we are aware, for instance, the farmers, the rice farmers, as a case study. The rice farmers received so much grants, loans from federal government. And as we speak today, it has turned to a secrecy that we don't know whether they've started paying back or not. We don't know what is the capacity they've developed over time. Because if we've been able to collect so much billions as loans, by now we should be talking about purchasing rice at a reasonable cost.
So
with
what do
standard.
you think? Where is the problem?
The problem is most of these loans are not being supervised. When government give loans and somebody just come up and say, oh, there was an erosion that washed away all the seeds, so the loan is gone. Me and you remember, during the last Xmas, we bought rice for 40-something thousand naira per bag. Unfortunately, if you are to import rice from Thailand, the one bag of rice of 50 kg, the landing cost with your profit, with duty pay, with every other thing, will cost you less than 5,000 naira. With a freight charge, with duty, with warehousing, with your profit. Then, if you are to produce in Nigeria here, that you don't need to freight, you don't need to buy, just your own agricultural product here, you are selling for 40-something thousand. That means we don't have the capacity. It's as simple as that. We don't need to deceive ourselves. The principle of comparative advantage say, concentrate on what you have capacity for, and outsource the one you don't have capacity. I advise government at different forums that, look, even if you want to encourage all these products that we know we don't have the capacity, we can as well say, oh, let's encourage import. Put levy on that import. So that both the duty and the levy will be channeled into a pool. So that the limited resources of government will not be given out as a loan. Those farmers will go to that pool and get funds to meet standard.
You know, when you say we don't have capacity,
Yeah.
and the question comes to my mind, what do you mean by that? Are you talking of the weather? Are you talking of the land? Are you talking of the human resources? Which area would you say we don't have
Where we
capacity?
lack
For
it,
instance, in rice, I mean, when you go to the north, we have wide fields of rice plantation. You know, you have, big institutions and companies investing in it. You have smallhold farmers also going to. So what do you mean by we don't have capacity?
Yeah, statistics shows that in Nigeria here, if we use all the land that are fertile to yield rice, we will yield 1.2 million metric tons per hectare. If we use all the land available to yield rice, we yield 1.2 million metric tons per hectare. Our local consumption is 3.6 million metric ton per hectare.
So it doesn't still meet.
So we have deficit of almost about 2.4 billion metric tons. So in a situation where you now have the local consumption lower than the yielding consumption, I'm not talking about export consumption now. I'm talking about our local consumption. So in a situation where you have a small yielding capacity, you expect the price to jack up. You might have the land, you're only looking at land, you're not looking at population that are consuming the rice. So as we speak today, we don't have the capacity. Even in the days of agricultural capacity, that we have all these pyramids everywhere, we still import rice. Uncle Ben is a very good example.
So what do we have capacity for? Malaysia came here, took palm fruits, and now they are the world's
We have capacity for palm, but government has abandoned it. We have capacity for cocoa. We have for sesame seed. We have for so many other cash crop, other products. But Nigeria do not focus on that. The reason why Nigeria is focusing on rice is because it's like a cocaine. You can yield your money very fast on it, and you can dictate the price. Otherwise, government should have challenged the farmers that, look, if people are importing, we are to protect the interests of the masses. And they are importing, and the cost of production, imported rice, 50 kg, is 5,000.
Yeah.
But you are yielding locally, and you are selling for 40. What is the... Because if you are to force me to consume my local consumption, I want to look at the standard. There must not be stones.
Yeah.
It must be... You see, when you're talking about local consumption, it all encompasses. And that's the only time you can encourage citizens to patronize local. And we also have foreigners that are here. Are you expecting them to eat rice with stones? Because you want to... You see, when you overprotect your economy, you destroy it. And
we still have after. The issue of after is on now, but we're not feeling the impact of that.
We cannot feel the impact, number one. I've said it the last time I was there. I said, look, there are basics requirements to be a good player in this continental free trade area. If you are not there, you are not there. There's nothing to hide. In terms of infrastructure, we are far behind. In terms of our policy, we are far behind. It is only in Nigeria that we have close to 30 items of goods that are prohibited. That's over protection of your economy. You destroy the economy. Open the markets. Let everybody participate. Let them compete. What are you hiding? If you tell me not to bring ball pen or to pick, you must provide for me someone that is meeting that standard. So if I want to write, the pen will not just fail while writing.
Because
you don't tell me I must
local.
patronize whether it's good or bad.
Because I want to do local. All
Because
right.
I want to do local.
Standards.
Thank you
Quality.
so much, Dr.
Thank you.
Shegun Musa. I wish we had more time
Thank you very much.
to have this discussion, but I'm sure we can have you in a future date. And
I look forward.
We'll
On our
conclude this.
invitation.
Thank you very
Dr.
much.
Shegun Musa is the Deputy National President of Air Logistics in NAGAF, and he shared his thoughts with us with how we can boost non-oil exports in the country.